Good afternoon and welcome to round 6 of the Queensland GPS First 15 rugby competition. We're coming to you live today from St Joseph's Nudgee College home on Ross Oval. My name is Nick Darvanese. Joining me is Rob Matthews. Rob, welcome to round 6.
Thank you so much, Nick. Absolute pleasure to be here, mate.
Well, they say on Game of Thrones that winter is coming, and for last week it hasn't felt like it, but gee, hasn't winter arrived today? It is quite chilly.
It's chilly and it's breezy. As we look at that shot there, coming from the right of your screen are some big westerlies. So it'll really play havoc with some of the kicking today, and the teams will be wanting to use the conditions to their advantage.
Yeah, of course. Ross Oval, one of the best spectator arenas in the GPS competition, here today to defend, or BBC rather, will be travelling to defend their ownership of the Halle Appleby Memorial Trophy, which they won for the first time last year with a 31-29 upset at Miskin Street.
Yeah, well, it certainly was an upset result. They'll be looking to defend that today. But let's jump into a little video that the Nudgee College boys prepared during the week, which gives a little more information on the Halle Appleby Memorial Trophy.
It is often said that a person who does not know their own history is like a tree without roots, easily blown over by the slightest of winds. If we ignore our history, we are doomed to misunderstand the importance of an event. This Saturday, the 19th of August 2017, a game of rugby will take place. However, it is so much more than mate against mate or team against team. It is so much more than a simple GPS fixture. Much more than an ageless rivalry timing back to before our time here at the college. It's a game played with passion, a game played with pride, a game played in honour of one of our own. A game which has meaning to every single one of the thousands that will flock to that sacred oval this Saturday. The irony is, a game in which two teams oppose, the spirit of a Nudgee brother will rise above and ultimately unite.
In the year of 2005, Halle Appleby became one of us, beginning his journey at our great college, walking the walls that you've walked and dominating on Ross Oval. Like many of us, Halle had a strong passion for rugby. However, tragically, in 2011, it was this passion and the game he loved so dearly that took his life. In this dark time, we lost more than just a mate. We lost a brother, one of 10,000 strong. However, we got back on our feet through the strength of the blue and of the white. We remember Halle every time we pull on this sacred jersey, every time our famous war cry echoes off the walls of Dewey.
When our 15 step foot on these blades of grass this Saturday, they're given an opportunity to carve their own slice of history. They're given a test of courage, a test of character, a test of heart. It's what they're willing to sacrifice, it's what they're willing to endure for us, for the blue and for the white, for the crest, for every single brother that has gone before us, but most importantly, for Halle.
The legacy we leave is all about us. It's the respect we show, the passion we present, and the spirit that as a college we will fill our fortress. It's wanting to succeed as badly as you want your next breath. It's not having fear and not having hesitation at whatever it takes. The noise we produce this weekend will give us an ability to run, to hit, to fly like there's no tomorrow. Because from this day forward, you will live every day as if it was your last.
Halle will be there with us this Saturday. His voice will be heard. His voice is the echo that bounces back off the chapel walls. We will fill the grandstand for Halle, for the legacy of a fallen brother. Be there this Saturday, 2:15 Ross Oval. Honour your brothers, honour your college, but most importantly, honour Halle's legacy.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, today we're celebrating the life of Halle Appleby, leader of the Nudgee College First 15 of 2007. Halle tragically lost his life in a tackle gone wrong in a Premier Grade fixture for the University of Queensland in 2011. Since then, his rugby family have come together every year at both the club and school level to celebrate the life of a beloved member taken too soon. If you're tuning in, thank you also for being a part of celebrations on what should be an excellent day and a celebration of rugby. So before we get on to the round that's about to come, Rob, why don't we have a look back at the round that's just been?
Absolutely, Nick. So last week we saw in the game of the round, the Southport School knocked Gregory Terrace out of premiership contention with a 39-27 win away from home. That was an important result.
A huge result, especially for Southport. Now they are within reach of Nudgee. All they've got to do is pray Nudgee slip up, and they'll have a chance for that on Nudgee themselves in round 8. But another game that caught my eye, Rob, was State High's 33-20 win over Churchie.
A big win for State High. Churchie will be disappointed as well. They would have had some hopes going into that one. They would have wanted to bounce back from a loss the week before, but it wasn't to be.
And our home team today, Nudgee College, a 41-28 win away at Ipswich. A massive result for Ipswich, have a bit of reputation going as giant killers of this 2017 GPS competition.
Giant killers, and just a difficult side to play. They're disruptive, they're intense, they're physical, so that's a very good result for Nudgee College.
And giant killers as well. It's Woomba Grammar School. Couldn't get it done against BBC. A close game up the range last week. BBC suffered a range of injuries, but luckily they're all sort of back and around the competition today. As BBC now starting to sort of summon their players forth onto Nudgee College's Halle Appleby.
What a fantastic shot. Good is schoolboy rugby, Nick. Just fantastic atmosphere to see these boys, mostly in uniform and in their school colours.
Yes, a few notable exceptions, but...
Look, we'll give them the doubt as second 15 members waiting to get their first 15 jerseys on as they sit on the bench. Just
coming off a great win, that BBC second 15 against Nudgee, winning I think 10-5. The ground announcer announced just as we went into our live broadcast. So a fabulous result there from a BBC second 15. Really sort of indicative of the quality of depth that BBC have been building across all grades, especially in these last few years. But now we'll get on to the first 15 with Nudgee College. Rob, do you want to take Nudgee College?
I'll take Nudgee College. A home team, a strong side today. Francis Siausi, Tom Ford and Harry Vella will be in the front row. Kale Manu, Matt Engelbrecht make up the locks. Ethan Bullymore, Hayden Mosley and Bailey Tautau are a dominant and strong back row. Phoenix Hunt, the captain, is at 9, combining with Reshan Pasitoa at 10. Ethan Robbins and Ryan Shepherd are our wings. Joe Small and Tom Blackmore will be combining in the centres with Jungler Bennett at the back, and he's been dangerous all season.
And we'll just wish a very happy birthday to Nudgee captain Phoenix Hunt. He does turn 18 today, so happy birthday to that man.
Let's see if the boys can get him something to celebrate.
And now the BBC, the challenges today are number 1, Prince Taunga Ele. At number 2, Joe Avali. And rounding out that front row, Reese Von Neck. In the second row, Jacob Brown and Trevor Hosea. In the back row, Joe Gilmore, Devon Toliafor and Xavier Velpui. In the halves, Ruan Peter meets Carter Gordon. On the wings, Shaden Stevens and Ryan Sawyer. In the centres, Weiwei Rauren and Cullen Yamani, the big BBC captain. And rounding out the team at fullback, Jack Bowen, who is an exciting young talent at the back.
That's a fantastic team, Nick. Is anyone in particular catching your eye? Not just necessarily for individual skills, but the bearing they may have on the game today.
What I see as a really great matchup this week, Rob, is the matchup between the Nudgee College centre Joe Small and BBC centre Cullen Yamani, who is their captain. They're both converted Queensland 1 school back row, who both found themselves into the centres as a result of depth or maybe through injuries to other players. So that match between the two converted back rowers will be huge, I think, as both sides battle to dominate the middle of the field.
Absolutely right. It will be telling as well. Both of these sides like to throw the ball around, play an attacking game. We saw BBC when they went down to Southport a fortnight ago that they actually scored the same number of tries as the Southport School, and it was a strong kicking game that got Southport over the line. But BBC can score points, but Nudgee themselves are coming off 41 points last week. So both these sides can score tries. It's a dry, fast track. That wind may wreak a little bit of havoc, but we should still see an exciting game of footy. Yeah, Nudgee College are ranked second in both attack and defence in the competition so far in 2017, scoring on average 34 points per game and conceding just 21. But BBC have the best defence themselves, conceding just 19 points, but are ranked 4th in attack. So I think it's going to be a match where a lot of evenness as we look towards the GPS ladder now, and a key fixture today between the 1st and 3rd ranked teams, Nudgee College and BBC. Here we go. The BBC boys just summoning their first 15 side from the dressing sheds. That's actually tucked in behind our commentary possession, Nick. So Can't see the team emerging as yet, but the boys are calling for them, and as the Nudgee College first 15 wait out in the middle of Ross Oval for their challenges.
Well, while we wait, Rob, another great matchup today will be between the two front rows. BBC weighing in at a whopping 333 kilograms, one of the competition's biggest this year. And Nudgee College weighing in at, listen to this, 285 kilograms, which must be the smallest Nudgee front row in a very, very long time.
They've been getting the job done all season though, Nick, so they're clearly effective, some good coaching and good technique.
You're 100% right, Rob. I mean, Nudgee College, this pack, the entire pack, only 2 blokes over 100 kilos this year. Looks like BBC on their way out, led out by converted centre Camp Kalinyamanu. And won't he have a job on his hands? Of course, BBC to lose this match would be to lose their even a chance at the premiership. Whereas Nudgee College, undefeated at this point, have that one game up their sleeves.
Fantastic shot in that shot as well. We could see the BBC supporters flag fluttering around. Was strongly, showing the strong westerly as well, but it was moving around the flagpole as well. So it's gusting. It's in this bowl next to the school buildings here. So a dominant westerly over as we face the field. Nudgee. So it looks like BBC will have the advantage of the breeze in this first half, but it is swirling around a bit, so it will wreak havoc across the park.
Yeah, and a great matchup as well between two of the youngest and most promising fly halves in Queensland rugby. Young Carter Gordon from BBC matched up against the equally young, only freshly turned 16, Rashan Pasatoa, who's joined the Nudgee College team from Western Australia this season.
Make sure they stay. Just wait for me.
And an electric atmosphere to start off this match. Pasatoa takes to the skies, and we're underway. And BBC receive. A strong bulking carry there from BBC. Taken just in front of the 22. They won't be able to clear this on the full. BBC, Trevor Jose looks like. It was Devon Toliafor. As Ron Peter retains possession under a Nudgee onslaught in that breakdown, coming in from the side.
Referee Rowan Hoffman not having a bar of it though. Very, very experienced man in the middle. Internationals as a player and as a referee.
Yes, Zahoff, a Portuguese winger in his day. As Reese Von Neck, he's going to throw it in. And a bit of a mess. BBC will take it cleanly. To Gordon now. Met hard. Rumbling ahead, BBC. Over the 40. As Peter. Short ball for Trevor Jose. 205 centimetres, 118 kilograms. He's a big fella. As Gordon dinks in a kick behind. Strong chase from Shaden Stevens on left wing. As Jungler Bennett, fullback, he has his first touch of the game. And a nice clearing kick. And in fact, a very nice clearing kick all the way to the BBC 40-metre line. And a net gain for Nudgee College in front of the home crowd.
Especially impressive considering the conditions, Nick. That gain for Nudgee College. Very, very astute kicking.
Yeah, not wind assisted one little bit. As Reese Von Neck, the tight head prop, he'll throw in for Jose. Short to Gordon, inside ball. Swamped there, Hayden Mosley. Jose getting busy. And quick ball from BBC, but it is scrappy. As Gordon, another dinking little kick. Understands the value of this territory game. And now Jungler Bennett has a choice, run or kick. And it's not the easiest option, so he'll choose to run. And he'll lose it in the contact, and a great chase from BBC. A turnover now.
Huge numbers got there, Nick. Very impressive from the BBC chasers.
And forcing a knock on. Gee, that's just what you want, a raking kick down to into the coffin corner, as they call it. Beautiful play. Now BBC's front row, with that hefty weight advantage, will have a chance to exert some of their own brand of dominance on their Nudgee opposition. And of course, doesn't get more important for this than BBC. One loss and they are gone from the premiership running. So they'll want an early, effective opening.
You can hear that wind whistling through the microphones. It's as we see there, BBC have had the weight of possession, but this is their first real attacking opportunity, Nick.
And with a lot of strike weapons throughout this back line. As Peter now, Gordon hits Rao Ren, it looks like taking that hit up. As Peter, Jose again. Wide again, Carter, he'll go wide. And this will be Jose, striding cross and offloading. And we'll come back for penalty advantage. Looks like it was knocked on there by Jack Bowie-Bow in the pass. Couldn't find the man. BBC will come right back for their second opportunity inside the 22.
Good discipline there, good structures in attack. Lots of options for the ball player, coming in at different angles, asking questions of the defence.
And a long advantage, no territory gain. You couldn't really call it back at any point. As BBC, they don't want any points. They're going for big ones. Don't want any penalties, I should say. As Van Nudgee's got some line-out options to throw to here. Lots of boys over that 195 centimetre mark. I make that 4 in the starting team, might even be 5. As Jose is strong at the top. And BBC now. He'll fire it out. Van Neck, Gordon, Nimanu, wide, cutting out the back to Jack Bowie-Bow, and he'll lose it. And this will be a Nudgee counter-attack opportunity. Pasatoa. No, Ryan Shepherd. And a quick penalty, and all of a sudden it's a big net gain for Nudgee, turning a precarious position into a big territory gain. As Bennett, that left foot of his, had a wonderful kick forward. Doesn't have the same success here. As Nudgee will throw in their own line out. As Nudgee will throw in their own line out just on their side of the halfway. As Tom Ford, the Queensland, the GPS1 bench hooker. Engelbrecht goes up. He'll win it under pressure. Oh, and BBC will get it back with a knock on. Almost, but not quite. Rob Matthews. Anything to add?
It's just it's interesting. BBC are going from really good set piece one minute and then absolute mess the next. We spoke about the advantage they have at scrum time, but even in the lineouts, they've had I think two really clean throws, but equally that one was a bit of a mess there on the Nudgee throw. So this set piece is going to be telling this match.
Well, height-wise, there are significant advantages all throughout that lineout. That's going to be a real strength of BBC's, provided they can get the service they so desperately require. It was an ill-firing set piece 2 weeks ago against Southport,
and it was costly for them as well. That was another game where territory was really telling.
As Phoenix Hunt, the birthday boy, the captain, will feed into a scrum. Under pressure, they'll win it back. Pasatoa now, short ball. It's Joe Small. An open side flanker by trade. He's playing 12.
Smart play there. Held the offload that he wanted to throw and then released and regathered himself on the deck.
But a quick turnover from BBC is Cullen Imani. Feeds Jose, dummying going himself.
No support there, Nudgee College. They were just standing off the man.
Tolia 4. And a turnover themselves. Nudgee win it back nice and quick. As Reese Von Neck, the nuggety little open side. What is he? He's the tight head prop.
That was great strength from Van Neck. He was on there quickly.
Only 178 centimetres Van Neck, so a very low centre of gravity and so difficult to dislodge.
4 penalties early as well. We've had 7 minutes of play. Nudgee have conceded 3, BBC just the 1. Nudgee can't afford that, especially with this wind advantage. They'll keep inviting BBC down into the attacking end of the field.
Overthrown, and Phoenix Hunt, he's going to lose it. So now BBC, if they get this back, they'll have a counter-attacking opportunity. And win it back they do. Peter, Gordon. Tight pass.
Boomfer on Pasatoa there.
Incredible. Tunga Elliott looks like with the big carry. And Gordon wide. BBC has space out wide. Regained. Attacking left, Van Neck takes the line himself. Going very close. That's the try line there. And another turnover. Clutch from Nudgee College defence. Denying BBC any hope of crossing the line there.
turnovers for days, Nick. Both sides, they're just coughing it up. And it's the defence which is doing really good work as well. You know, the attacking support isn't far off the pace by any stretch, but the defence is just on the spot and aggressive and strong over the ball. This is impressive rugby.
It's one of the great hallmarks of New Zealand rugby, I feel, where all the teams that play are so accurate in their breakdown work. We're seeing a lot of great accuracy in the breakdown from these two young Queensland sides. So it bodes well for the future Queensland rugby. They're producing players with that ability now. As we go into our third scrum of the match, Nudgee College the feed, locked inside their 22. And no doubt BBC's big front row will be eyeing this as a great opportunity to steal back possession and launch a withering attack on the goal line if they can get it out themselves.
They've shown an ability to do that so far. Really good exits from Nudgee College, but the BBC have had a lot of time down this end of the field.
Crouch. Bind. Let's go. Set. Go. Hold it.
And so the wheels put on, that scrum's twisting. Nudgee win it back just. Short ball for Blackmore. Attacking wide, there's space down this left edge. Ethan Robbins. He's quick. Oh, and taken very well. Bowie Bowen over the top.
I think we've got a report for a tackle without the arms here.
Straight off your feet.
Yeah, Bowie Bowen launching himself at a prone target. Not allowed to do that.
In again. Yeah, so. Yeah, okay. I said get off.
Referee Hoffman had a good view of it. He was happy.
Pasatoa. No angle to work with. And he won't find touch. What can BBC do now? Bowie Bowen, he'll put a little dink in. As Nudgee, they'll launch their own counter-attack. There's space on that right. They move it there. Joe Small. Oh, met by a massive tackle. BBC say no thank you. As Hunt's into the midfield. Pasatoa, he'll run. And Jangler Bennett puts away Robbins. We saw his speed before he goes again. Little grab kick through. BBC regather. And they'll win it back. Not much of a chase there from Nudgee College. And a get out of jail card for BBC as they lose it now. Offside. Played at a hectic skeltering pace.
Great game of rugby so far. Stephen Barber, great to have you on the stream, mate. It's our pleasure to bring these streams to you live. Thanks to the schools as well who work with us and give us their blessing to bring these streams to you. But it's great to be able to involve the old boys communities and those of you who may not be able to make it down here to the grounds on Saturday afternoon. So Stephen and to all the old boys watching, welcome.
As BBC, they got their offside penalty and kick for the line. They'll launch their next attack from the Nudgee 40-metre line. 11 minutes gone. The game is tied at 0-0. To the back to Tolia 4. Gordon now flashing the inside pass. He'll go wide.
Oh, there's no shortage of big defence here, Nick.
As BBC attacking to the left. Nimani now. Met in the tackle. He'll fight for a few more metres. And that wind really buffeting now. Gordon, short ball. Vela Tupui. Gordon and BBC showing that effort to put that ball into a dangerous corner for Nudgee. And that's going to trickle into touch, we think. And a quick lineup. BBC got that back. And they have a try. Tight head prop, Reese Van Neck crossing in the corner. And gee, they're happy. Opening their scores with a great little set piece, a quick line-out move on that right wing.
Phoenix Hunt asking for a little explainer there from referee Ron Hoffman, but no problems with that one. Smart play by Brisbane Boys College. Really smart play. We can see here.
There's Van Neck drawing short for a Valley, who feeds it right back to the hooker. Nudgee caught napping as BBC head up for the first try of their match, 13 minutes in.
One man there as well. Nudgee College didn't have sufficient players. You know, line-out hadn't been formed. You need two from each side for a line-out to be formed. So there was nothing to stop BBC from taking the quick throw there. Fantastic, smart rugby.
It feels like a common criticism of schoolboys these days, where they say that, you know, these schoolboys are being trained to play robotic rugby, where they just, you know, play to the structures they've been taught. You see in that situation there, just not the case. Looking up, playing what's in front of them, and executing their skills to wonderful, wonderful perfection. As Carter Gordon, he'll look to take his kick into the wind. Not an easy one, and it will just drift away to the right. BBC go up 5-0, no conversion there. But a great start, and exactly the start they would have hoped for.
It took 13 minutes, but that territory advantage that had to tell eventually, Nick.
An overwhelming territory advantage, 90% to 10. And Nudgee now, they'll clear long to Peter. He'll run it back himself, scrambling to the 22. He won't go over. BBC can clear this when they want. But it's been turned over. Great work in the breakdown from Nudgee College. What can they do? Small, straighten the attack. Blackmore now, fending his through. Beats a couple. As Nudgee College now, Phoenix Hunt looking for options. He's got one there.
Into me, I'm going to give him the scrum here.
And Rowan Hoffman just couldn't get out of the way there. They'll take it back and set a set piece. It looks like the Nudgee props have swapped jerseys. Francis Siasi will be in the tight head number 3 jersey. Harry Vella in the loose head.
Yeah, that's fine, but I think we all I'm going to keep going.
We saw in that first scrum, Nick, BBC, they used that size advantage. And they got the penalty. Nudgee were pinged for not pushing straight, potentially a tactic to nullify that size disadvantage.
Some craftiness from both front rows.
That's what the front row is for, Nick. Always underestimated.
Never given the appreciation they deserve. As Hunt picks it up from the base of the ruck. Short ball inside for Joe Small. Slipping out of one. Tackled by Peter. Nudgee College, the forwards arrive. Bullimore now. Bullimore, so talented. As Hunt, the space there for him, he'll have a dart. He'll go very close. And a swarming defence there to meet him. As Nudgee College now looking to strike back. They're getting edging it closer and closer.
Short!
Short there, Rowan Hoffman. No one has to guess what's happening there.
Use! Hands up! Advantage.
Penalty advantage.
Hands in front of the in front of the try line, Nick, offside.
As Phoenix Hunt dummies his way through and he'll score, the Nudgee captain on his birthday. And what a gift.
He's hit the
Well, we've got Todd Kefu on the coaching bench for BBC. He's familiar with tries that just touch against the bottom of that left-hand upright, famously scoring one to give John Eales the win in his final test match. Phoenix Hunt there, captain's knock as well. Fantastic, well taken try.
A great try, great halfback's try. So dangerous on that right foot step. And the conversion, easy enough.
Taken quickly, well done.
I think Rashaan Pasatoa, he'll be running back with 2 points to his name as Nudgee College hit back and take the lead, 7 points to 5 in the 17th minute.
All the more impressive given the weather, Nick. We've got James Peter Lalo, Tony Bishop commenting on the stream, talking about how many points this wind advantage is worth. Tony Bishop reckons it's worth 10. Nick, your thoughts?
I think 10's probably not far off the mark. I mean, it's always a comp we see at Northgate, the home of Brisbane Grammar School, where the wind is worth up to as many 15 points per half. I don't think it's quite that strong here, but it will certainly play a role as the game extends forward.
It is a strong, strong breeze.
And BBC kicking to the left. Ryan Shepherd, he'll step out of a few. But carries outside the 22. I always wonder why players choose to do that. Taking away the option of a clearing kick. As Bailey Tautau now, he wrestles his way forward. And we see again BBC trying to wrap him up and force that maul turnover free kick. And they do it there. Cerebral play from the BBC forwards, wrestling the big Nudgee College back row upstanding and nowhere to go. And all of a sudden forcing a turnover in a very precarious attacking position.
Speaking of turnovers, Nick, just looking at the numbers, 6-5, so they're both pretty close, but 11 turnovers, 18 minutes of rugby. There's a lot of mistakes, and there's a lot of intensity on this field forcing those mistakes.
Well as the mistakes, you have to give credit to both back rows. I think we've seen such a wonderful play in that breakdown from both these sides early. And, you know, I guarantee we'll see more of those as this game progresses as bodies start to tire and support slows down just that little bit. And BBC awarded the free kick. Peter will take quickly for Gordon now. He'll look inside and go out. And now, who's this? Ryan Sawyer. Nudgee College, ambitious attempt there from Matt Engelbrecht, the lock. He's come in for the injured Harrison Cannon, the Nudgee College lock, lost for the season. Nudgee actually lost 2 Queensland players during the course of this season to injury for the season. Xavier Solly, the outside centre, and lock Harrison Cannon, both unavailable.
Ted Williams giving a shout out to Jed Grady, Dennis Beecroft. I presume you're looking at the Watching With You Friends feature on Facebook, mate. I'll help make sure they get it. Their attention is drawn, so shout out for those blokes.
And Maul to the back, BBC now. Taking the ground quickly but legally. As Peter, he'll feed to Gordon. A talented wide passer. Cullen Yamani takes on the defence. And Bailey Tautau over the ball. Not quick enough. BBC playing at a great tempo. Von Neck. The man with very limited neck. Gordon now. Back. Tungele.
Very late tackle in back play there. They didn't go on with it though. Hoffman was right on the spot.
As Yamanu, he'll juggle it and feed Joe Gilmore. Jacob Brown. Gordon now, wide into the midfield. Tolia 4. Looks for the offload, can't pop it off the deck. And Nudgee stolen, Hayden Mosley.
No ruck formed, no offside line.
Brilliant play from the young open side. As Nudgee College scrapping to open up some room to clear their kick. Phoenix Hunt appealing for a penalty. He won't get it. And back goes Pasatoa, that right foot. Good kick, they reckon. Finds touch, doesn't quite clear the 40. Not a bad kick with the conditions. Trevor Jose goes up, no stopping him that tall. Gordon stepping inside 1. It looks like a change in the BBC team sheet as well. Kibble in the 7 jerseys, BBC. Space opens up down the left, Cullen Yamanu. Can he get there? He will. And a wonderfully taken try, Joe Avali, I'm sorry. And how about the Jets on the hooker? Steaming around that outside corner to score BBC's second try in the 22nd minute.
Fabulous try there. The space was out wide. Nudgee have been defending quite narrow so far this match, and it has been working for them by and large. That they've been rushing up and cutting off the space, but just turned it in the other direction there.
And we see that huge overlap. Great quick thinking from Ruan Peter, the BBC scrum half. Identifying the space and getting it there with a tidy set of wheels from Joe Avali, finishing off a wonderful try in the loose.
Very, very impressive set of heels for a hooker. And great hands as well. You know, the pass was down around his knees and he was running at full tilt as well. Impressive, impressive. It's
really a position that's getting more and more athletic as time goes on. We see the Dane Coles and the sort of revolution in the hooker position they're inspiring. All of a sudden, these quick blokes who you might normally see in the 7 jersey or in maybe even number 8 for some, all of a sudden they're winding up in the front row and making an absolute fist of it in the best possible way. Gordon, simple kick. We think that wasn't a conversion, judging from the lack of celebration on the BBC faces. But nonetheless, they'll take the lead. 23 minutes in, BBC leading 10 points to 7 on Nudgee College's Ross Oval. Of course, 35-minute halves in the GPS first 15 competition. So not long to go now before these boys get a break, but there's plenty of rugby to be played. As BBC take cleanly outside their 22. They'll have to run it out. Or a delicate kick. And taken well, Jungler Bennett. Pasatoa now. He'll feed Shepherd. The big body Ryan Shepherd jinking his way over halfway. Forwards arrive. Hunt out the back. A wild pass. Bennett now, he's got some footwork. There it is. And the chip and chase attempt. Straight down the throat of Jack Bowen. And he'll look up on the right-hand side. Sawyer, another grubber. All of a sudden, oh, this is dangerous. And a clutch tackle from the try scorer, Joe Avali. Cutting short a promising run. As Phoenix Hunt looking up and scanning and sending a runner into a big tackle from Ryan Sawyer.
Hands on the deck before you take the turnover. Stay with your feet.
And the penalty going against Devon Toliafor there. Over-eager in the breakdown. Pastor finding his mark. And he'll put that kick right into the heart of the BBC supporters. Finding touch inside the BBC 40-metre line.
So just tap in your feet.
And Tommy Ford, he'll throw in.
No numbers called, they've walked in.
Hold 10, hold 10.
And BBC win the turnover. And they'll attack themselves. Von Neck looking up, he'll find, I think it's Jack Kibble.
Stripped.
And turnover, Small, great bit of skill there. The other centre part of Tom Blackmore. He'll take contact inside the 22 as Nudgee continue to attack right. Ryan Shepherd fighting through defence. As Hunt now to Tautau. Big Bailey Tautau getting rid of one. And attacking back down the right, there's space down there. Shepherd, he's been busy in the last few minutes. Pick and drive. Beating the BBC back row. And a solid shot, they're getting very close there inside the 5-metre line. And Nudgee College right now with a ripe opportunity to take back the lead. Battling against a bigger forward pack. Not something you often see in a BBC versus Nudgee fixture. As now gearing up, who's going to take the next hit up? Who wants it? As Phoenix Hunt, he'll go out the back for Small. Short to Pasatoa, the inside to fly half. BBC all over that breakdown, and there'll be a battle to get it back. Nudgee do. Bennett with the footwork, beating one. He'll try a second, but he won't get away from Von Neck. Hunt marshalling his defenders. That's Harry Vella. He'll take on the defense. He needs support. And Trevor Hosea.
And entry by yourself. Entry, holding on.
So big, so powerful. He's already signed with the Melbourne Rebels. He'll be off to Melbourne as soon as his school career finishes. But gee, it's been a pleasure watching him the last little while.
That really emphasises how much pressure both teams are under at the breakdown. That penalty was twofold, entry and holding. So the support was late, and when it came, it was rushed, it was forced, so they felt compelled to come in the side to save that ball.
And while we were discussing that, a monster kick from BBC has found touch well and truly inside the Nudgee half. Thumping kick. BBC throw to the back. Toliafor looks like. Gordon, inside ball. Nudgee all over that breakdown. And another turnover. Well, we said we'd see plenty of them and haven't. Oh, 2 turnovers in a quick succession as Carter Gordon takes on the line himself.
No 7.
He's playing injured, the young BBC fly half. You couldn't tell from that.
Out of the way, out of the way, out of the way.
So a bit of confusion there. No one really knew what was going on. And Nudgee right now, they'll take possession and they'll start afresh.
Leave it, Green.
Crisis averted. Hunt, a double cutout.
Hold it.
Nudgee's forward, slow to get in this position. They go out the back anyway. Small now. Distributing wide for Pasatoa. He'll accelerate. Bedded into the breakdown. Just about the smallest player in the field.
And another turnover, Nick.
Well, possession has just been flopping about in the wind like you wouldn't believe. Well, neither side really able to string together any sort of significant length of possession or multiple phases.
Tell you what, Nick, I'm here with our stats guy as well, and just watching these buttons be pressed for turnovers conceded and changes in possession and territory, they're going to be some sore thumbs at the end of the day.
Wearing the fingers to the bone. As now, Nudgee College. A line-out throw to re-enter the BBC 22 and hopefully take back the lead. As forward now. And they'll win it back, Engelbrecht. Oh, and a knock on there. And that'll be what must be the 19th turnover of the match within 30 minutes. And Rob, I was at the 2015 match between these two sides at the same ground, and I recall that was a match with a lot of turnovers. I think I spoke to Stephen Philpotts after that match, and I think it was something like 30, where we're getting close to that number already.
Just get stuck into each other, these two sides. Interestingly, though, I should say, that was the first handling error by Nudgee College today. So there's been a lot of disruption elsewhere, but their handling has been good.
That's phenomenal. Of course, BBC last year snapping a 12-year drought against Nudgee College on Miskin Street with a try on the buzzer.
Shoulders on, and you've got your shoulders on. Eight. I need your shoulders on the scrum. Okay. Eight. I need you on the scrum. Okay. That's why I'm waiting so long.
We saw in that round one Nudgee Terrace fixture here at Russ Oval that referee Rowan Hoffman, he blew up a number of penalties early in the match and set the standard and communicated to the players and made them know what he wanted and what he expected of them. And then the match opened up from there. So again, referee Hoffman setting the standard and being clear in his communication.
Well, BBC now, you'd have to think they'd clear through that clinical kicking boot, Carter Gordon. Turned 16 at the start of the GPS rugby season, and hasn't he been wonderful? A real talent of the future. Gordon cutting short for Numanu, but they'll spill it. Several knock-ons. And the first one's off Nudgee. So BBC will reload with another chance to work their way into Nudgee half and score a few more points to open up a bit of a buffer before they have to contend with this wind in the second half.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be happy going to the sheds, especially given the territory advantage they've had, 70-30 at the moment. They won't be happy going into the sheds only up by 3 points with the wind in their face in the second half and with Nudgee coming home in front of a home crowd. We saw it in the background of that last shot of the scrum. A big crowd of Nudgee boys in that grandstand on the far side of Ross Oval. It's an imposing place to visit.
Well and truly a graveyard of schoolboy first 15 premiership ambitions. As Ruan Peter, he'll feed the scrum to the cries of his BBC supporters. They're happy. Boyabon, a little chip kick. He's looking to find grass. And he does behind Ethan Robbins, who go inside. And a great chase from Boyabon, but not enough. The fast feet of Jangler Bennett.
Knockdown.
Knockdown called.
Where you are.
So pressure relieved on Nudgee, an intentional knockdown. Again, we saw it a couple of weeks ago at Churchy, Nick. It's worth reminding people. The common perception of a deliberate knockdown is, people think, is the palm facing up, is the palm facing down, but also an additional consideration that the referees enter into is whether the player had a legitimate chance of pulling in the ball. So in that instance, I don't think it was necessarily cynical. We didn't really see palm down, but the player did not have a realistic opportunity of reeling in that ball in. Exactly right.
Well, it was a pretty miserable kick from Rashawn Pasatoa. They want to win this. They do just. As Nudgee College now feeding the midfield. Options everywhere. As Blackmore, he'll take the ball up. As Hunt now. Outside, there's numbers out there if Nudgee can use them. Taken ground by a great tackle and wonderful support play. Matt Engelbrecht flying into that breakdown. As Bailey Tautau met in a big tackle. We've been saying it all day, this BBC defence has been aggressive. And you'd have to think now Nudgee forwards are sort of floundering under the physicality of their opposition. Rowan Hoffman, he'll have to call a stop to the clock.
Captain's coming out.
Well, Numanu and Phoenix Hunt, they'll have some talk, some words here.
Just while we wait, Nick,
the ground here.
There you go. I don't think referee Hoffman's happy with the with all the other referees that have joined him on the field. He just wants to clean this up. But just while we're waiting, Nick, it's interesting. You know, you mentioned there the defence and the speed of the defence. Both sides all day, we've seen them put under pressure. I don't think in either team, Nudgee or BBC today, have been able to make any real progress at all through the inside channels, and both are getting pinned behind the advantage line in attack until they spread it wide or until they put boot to ball. No one's really able to work through those patterns and work through those phases and make any inroads on the inside.
No, you're 100% right. There's been very little punch inside the between the two 15-metre channels. I mean, the tram track's where the space has been for the wingers, but for everyone else, not numbered 13 to 15, it's been slim pickings.
Or number 2 in the case of Ollie, that fantastic try down the outside.
Well, I'm not convinced.
BBC.
I'm not convinced he's a real number 2. There might be a 12 that's been pulled off.
And he just happens to be in the front row of the scrum as well, Nick.
And a very stocking 12 he would be as well.
Reminds me of back in the day, many moons ago, David Pocock running at 12 off Quade Cooper at 10, playing for the Churchy First 15 in 06, 07. That was an impressive side.
I thought you might have been saying yourself a stocky young front row in the Churchy.
Never been stocky in my life beyond the age of about 12 months, I think, Nick.
And great offload there. Joe Small getting us back underway with a flash. This BBC making life a misery in the breakdown for Nudgee College today. And what a wonderful effort there from Tom Kibble. I do apologise, I've called Tom Jack and vice versa a few times. Both talented brothers to go through this BBC First 15. As Zavali getting rid of one. And there's space out wide. Tunga Ele. Jose now. Over the 22. And BBC really finding some impetus on attack. Quick hands, Jose. Those long strides. So difficult to bring down. Offside there, maybe.
Yeah, lazy running.
And not a bad little get out of jail free card, I think, Rob Matthews. Just fling into the referee and call for a scrum. Always a good way to settle things down. I
think if Ryan Peter, if he wants to play the Gregan rule and passing it into someone who shouldn't be where they are, the referee isn't the person to be passing into. He should have picked out that lazy Nudgee runner just a phase earlier.
No doubts there. Ryan Peter moved to Australia from South Africa when he was just 7 years old. He's played in Australia ever since. Hasn't quite worked out whether he supports the Springboks or the Wallabies just yet.
Bind.
Maybe if our commenters want to help him decide.
Set. Steady.
Yeah, 7 years old, Nick. I think if there a gold jersey were dangled in front of him, the decision would be made pretty quickly.
As Gordon now, a wide cutout pass. Reeled in superbly by Cullen Numanu. Must be a good fisherman. BBC now looking for some punch in midfield, but Carter Gordon going back against the grain. Nudgee really stocked that defensive area full of defenders. Harbour Bridge coat hanger pass. Jose getting rid of one.
Getting rid of two. Well, that palm.
You don't often see big men so athletic. He's very much in the Adam Coleman sort of mold where big skills. He's got the whole lot of very complete package as BBC continue. This must be their longest set of possession in the game. Multiple phases of attack now. As Gordon going deep, he'll short ball for Kibble. He'll fight his way. Great carry by the open side flanker, nearly to the 22. Gordon now. Numanu in space. Goose stepping away, and basketball passing can't be held onto. Another knock-on, ending at... is that half-time, Rob Matthews?
That's half-time, Nick. 35-minute halves in the first 15. And what a half it was. I mean, we saw fierce competition at the breakdown, fierce competition through the midfield. But then it was punctured with, the game loosening up a little bit, and the space and the fringes, and the kicking game was actually really well dealt with by both teams in trying conditions. Fantastic rugby.
I wonder if we can pull up a few of the stats from the half as we head into this break. Lots of turnovers is the biggest one for me, Rob Matthews.
Yeah, absolutely right, Nick.
Here we are. As points scored, BBC leading Nudgee College 10 points to 7. Sorry, Rob, I cut you off. What were you pointing out here?
It's the missed tackles that's really surprised me. I mean, I think the BBC runners have just, they've got those evasive outside backs. Booyah Bowen, Sawyer. They've been really deadly today, and they've found space around the fringes, and also through the middle. There's been a little bit of space either side of the ruck, but that defence has been willing. But those missed tackles doubled by Nudgee College to BBC. It certainly helped that territory figure we're looking at, which has really kept BBC with their noses in front.
Yeah, that's right. Nudgee have flashed their own sort of sparks when Joe Small's able to get those freakish-looking offloads away from the inside centre jersey, particularly across to Ethan Robbins in that left wing. Nudgee have looked dangerous and threatened on occasion, but they haven't been able to put together consistent amounts of a pressure and apply that upon the BBC defensive line.
And they haven't been able to put together consistent pressure just because of those turnovers. 10 by Nudgee College, 9 by BBC. Both sides are just struggling to deal with the way their opponent is just strangling their gameplay today. It's been tremendously impressive. And so, we're seeing that carries through to the line break stats as well. 2 line breaks to 1. Well, there's nothing in it, Nick.
Well, I'll tell you what's just as good as a line break for me. This tactical kicking from BBC, particularly from the fly half, young blonde fly half Carter Gordon, is able to find that grass, and a great kick chase has piled so much pressure upon Nudgee College that really they've had no options but to let it trickle into touch on one occasion in particular. And what do you know? BBC converted that into a try in seconds.
Yeah, it was very impressive. BBC certainly took their opportunities. Nudgee College did as well. They really only had that one really good attacking opportunity, and they took it. Hunt took it well off the base of the ruck, scored against the upright. So, well-taken opportunities. Good, high-quality schoolboy rugby on both sides. Nick, I think we need to catch our breath.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a great plan, Rob. We'll come back to you in just a few minutes. BBC leading Nudgee College 10 points to 7 in a must-win clash for the boys in green, white and black. Their season will be, or their premiership contention will be over if they can't continue this lead in the second half. We'll see you in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ross Oval, the home of Nudgee College Rugby. I'm Nick Darvaniza, joining me Rob Matthews. Today our two teams today, BBC and Nudgee College, were facing off for the third annual Halle Appleby Memorial Trophy.
Fantastic game of rugby we've seen so far, Nick. Really willingly contested, but a big westerly blowing across the ground from left to right as the viewers see it. And that'll be at Nudgee College's backs in this second half, so only trailing by 3 points. You'd have to think that'll help them out.
Yeah, Nudgee College, or rather BBC, snapped a 12-game losing streak to Nudgee College with a 31-29 win last year. They'll be looking for more of the same, and gee, it looks like it's heading that same way in terms of a close scoreline in the second half.
Absolutely right, close scoreline indeed. Unless something substantially changes in the way these two teams are playing their football, this one will run right down to the wire. And just as well, Nick, before this second half gets underway, it's worth reminding people, if club rugby is your thing, or if you support someone in the Queensland Premier Rugby competition, it's grand finals weekend at Ballymore at the moment. We've got some of the grades and the younger Colts teams playing off today, and tomorrow we have the big ones. First grade, Premier Colts, Premier Reserve, and of course Premier grade itself. Uni versus GPS should be a cracking day of rugby at Ballymore tomorrow.
Well, really, Rob, there's no bigger match than the third grade grand final, so I just want to wish Marty Lippiatt, the regular GPS rugby commentator, the very best of luck in his third grade grand final, kicking off in about 10 minutes.
As long as he doesn't break himself, Nick, because we need him in the commentary booth tomorrow.
Mate, there is no breaking that mouth, I'll tell you what. As Nudgee College, BBC rather, will get us back underway. Ethan Bullymore feed it right back for Rishan Pasatoa. And he'll find grass on that right wing as Gordon. He'll keep burying Nudgee under the weight of territory. Can't find touch there. Rather, he does. Quickly taken as Ryan Shepherd looks like those long striding legs. He'll fight his way to the 40-metre line. They go behind the back, Nudgee College, short ball for Sulasiasi. Nudgee College wrestling their way to the 40-metre line.
We heard that groan in the crowd. We're feeling those hits from here.
And BBC again showing their intent again in the second half to hold up Nudgee College and force a maul turnover. Made so famous by the Island team, Rob Matthews, it's proven very effective for BBC today.
Yep, that Island team spoiled Australia's chances of qualifying top of the pool in the 2011 World Cup, and then sent us into the same side of the finals and met New Zealand in the semi instead of the grand final that many predicted. And it's spoiling these teams today as well.
I wonder if the Irish are listening to this thinking, these bloody Aussies just won't shut up about 2011, will they?
Oh, I hope they do. It was a proud moment for their rugby people over in Ireland. Certainly weren't too happy with some of the Australian blogosphere and the commentary that came out after that match, but we won't reignite those fires.
I remember that great open letter.
Hugh Cavill's open letter to the Wallabies. No, infamous. I remember speaking to Hugh a few weeks after he wrote that, woke up to some ungodly number of abusive emails and messages. And
I need you to pull yourselves forward and stay square, okay?
Tell you what, stern words also from Rowan Hoffman there to the BBC front row. They have a size dominance, but he's still got to make sure that they use it appropriately and legally.
And also wearing green.
Also wearing green.
Exactly. And so we're going to get back underway in a sec.
Steady.
Both teams now struggling to work their way into the half.
That's a great looking scrum.
As Peter goes behind the back of Carter Gordon, reeled in very well.
Tackle, mate.
Nudgee College giving a bit of their own medicine in return.
Fine.
The turnover's good. Well, Rob, they say 60% of all tries in international rugby is scored in the first phase of a turnover. And can this be one now? Bowie Bowen under a lot of pressure. He had to clear with that left foot.
Yeah, he tried to banana it off the outside of the boot, but just did not work. So this is a fantastic attacking opportunity for Nudgee College early in the second half.
It looked like a right-footed kicker as well. It would have been very impressive if that came off correctly. But now Tom Ford, he'll throw into a pack, and no doubt they'll look to add some more points to their scoreline.
6 in, 6.
They go a shorter line out.
6. Scrum half coming.
Nudgee College disrupted to the front. BBC not out of the woods yet. Shaden Stevens there. Tackle on the goal line. There'll be a scrap.
Unplayable ruck.
Unplayable ruck, 5 minutes scrum to BBC.
Bodies on the floor there. Their scrum.
Well, wasn't that something there? It's almost the stuff of nightmares. So you look up from a ball on your own goal line and see the entire Nudgee College forward pack rushing up on you on Ross Oval. Enough to give a shivers down my spine.
Good calm refereeing from Rowan Hoffman, though. Obviously a very big moment in the match. Wasn't tempted to, you know, make a dramatic call. Unplayable ruck. Let's go again.
Just the third match Nudgee College have played on Ross Oval in 2017 so far.
Steady blue.
Some more big ones still to come.
Stay on set.
As Peter to Gordon, Hugo short ball to Kibble. What a carry. And a banana kick, that's not going to do much damage either.
It's a little bit better, but look at that touchy flag just gusting there. You can see how strong that wind is, and we can hear it in the microphones as well.
I think I've just noticed we haven't been calling out YY Raren's name very often. It looks like he's not even playing. That doesn't look like him in the 12 jersey at all.
No. Six.
Well, that would explain it, wouldn't it, Nick?
It makes a lot of sense, to be honest. If only it took us a bit quicker than 39 minutes to figure it out. As for now, what a great camera angle this is. Right into the heart of the action on Nudgee College. And a delayed throw, a half arm, a short arm rather, going against the home team. So they can put this in a touch, BBC, if they want, but they won't get the throw in.
You can kick it out. You can kick it out, but it's not your line. Stay in 22, inside the 22.
Rowan, I'm available for refereeing if you want to sort of get me involved. I know my stuff clearly.
Yeah, there you go.
And not a bad little kick. It'll be Nudgee College's line out on their own 40-metre line. Ryan Peter getting those short little arms in there. Not sure how much you're going to do, mate. And BBC winning at the back. And a big carry by Kibble. And so Gordon, he'll throw it short. Van Neck.
Leave it now.
Mosley was all over that ball, cleaned out just in time. Short ball. Jose. BBC slowing it down. They're going to take their time as Tunga Ellie punches through. What a great run that was. Pick and drive, getting the legs, moving at speed. Jacob Brown. He'll take on the defence. As Peter goes back, Gordon, short ball to Vela Tupui. He'll offload, Kibble. And he'll take contact. Great tackle there from Bailey Tautau, Matt Engelbrecht to bring down the rampaging open side flanker as BBC attack through the middle. Toliafor now. Taken just short of the BBC. Nudgee College off their feet there. No rights to play at that ball. All slow it down. And the penalties forthcoming. And it opens up an interesting decision, Rob Matthews, right now.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some words here.
So we're now having
BBC.
too many penalties at the breakdown. Your number 7, clearly off his feet here. He's got to let it go, okay? As soon as he's lost his feet, you've got to let it go, all right? So listen, that's your warning. Any more down in this part here that cuts their momentum, we'll go to the...
And there we go, with no wiggle room now. Nudgee College will have to let BBC play at their own speed. They can't slow it down now. And what that might do, Rob, is that'll open up a lot of attacking opportunities for BBC, especially on second and third phase.
Absolutely right. We've been speaking about how intense that competition at the breakdown has been all match and how disruptive it's been for both sides. So suddenly we might see a little bit more opportunity for BBC to get some quick ball.
And there just seems to be a pep in BBC's step. A pep in BBC's step right now. As Reese Van Neck. And he'll throw to the back. For Toliafor. Oh, and a big shot there. BBC now. Oh, gee, they're further ahead than we thought they might be. As Tunga Ella, he'll drive. Yeah, that great pick and drive not so long ago. That was a Valley. He was going for his second try.
Tremendous by Engelbrecht.
And a great shot there. And quick ball. Oh, and lost. Or not lost. Boya Bowen.
Oh.
He's called a try. The touch judge has nothing to say about it. Gee, it was close. What happened there?
I'll tell you who else had nothing to say about it. That's the big crowd of BBC supporters. They're right down there in that corner in a grandstand just meters from the field. If they saw any lace of boot touch any lick of white paint, they weren't going to call it.
Well, let's say selective hearing.
Absolutely right. We thought that was lost, but it did go backwards there.
What a great angle this is. Bowie Bowen finishing in the air. And BBC are thrilled, going up 8 points against Nudgee College on their home deck. And I'll tell you what, I think it's been a long time since BBC beat Nudgee on Ross.
That's a fantastic result for BBC. First to score in the second half. We were speaking about how we didn't think a margin of 3 points was, well, it's certainly probably not enough against a good Nudgee College side.
Not to give the coaches any peace of mind whatsoever. That's Carter Gordon. He'll take the kick that might look for a 10-point lead. He's gonna, not a golfer, Rob. Was that a hook or a slice?
Nick, I'm the furthest person you'd call from a golfer.
Well, maybe the commenters can let us know.
I think it was a hook. If it comes inside, to the left of a right-hander, I'm pretty sure it's a hook.
Regardless, BBC up 8 points in the 44th minute against Nudgee College. Last time they were here, they lost 39-10, and gee, it's going better this time around.
My producer Blake is giving me thumbs up. It is a hook. I'm not sure how much of a golfer he is, but at least he knows his lingo.
As BBC, they'll clear through Ruan Peter. Will he find touch? No, he won't. And a wide pass into midfield. Ryan Shepherd now. Or Pasatoa, rather. That black headgear is so hard to differentiate on a sunny day. And a penalty. That BBC back row swinging back into action.
You can see the Nudgee supporters just a little bit down on their haunches.
Well, if you're BBC right now, what more could you possibly want? You have a nice clearing kick, a great kick chase, and you force a penalty, which gives you another opportunity to kick. All of a sudden, that restart turns into an 80-metre gain. And a good thump here into touch will put BBC in a really great position to continue to attack.
I'm not sure if the viewers at home can hear it above that wind that's rustling through our mics, but the BBC crowd down at, as you face the field, the bottom left of screen, the bottom left corner, they are very vocal. Nudgee College at home, very, very silent at the moment. With Nudgee trailing, they'll really want to turn that around.
BBC haven't won a premiership since 1954, and this is their best chance right now, knocking off an undefeated Nudgee College.
And offloads like that will help.
Great run through the middle by number 12.
But the support straight down off feet, I think what the call is.
Where you are?
I'll tell you what, Nudgee College needed that one to go their way. Because right now they've found themselves in a bit of a hole. They haven't been able to attack as fluidly as we've seen a competition who is ranked second in the competition in their attacking prowess. They've been a bit restricted against BBC. So if this gets into a slugging match, Nudgee College will not be happy.
Stay 10, please.
Nudgee College scrapping the line out. They'll get it back. The birthday boy, Captain Phoenix Hunt, he'll offload. Another offload. Ethan Robbins now. Met by a brick wall of BBC defence, and they'll take him into touch. Or maybe not. Ruan Peter's got something to say about it. Nudgee College will set a short line out, hoping to negate some of that sort of size in the BBC forward pack. 4 blokes all over 190 centimetres. And the ball goes to ground. It's sloppy stuff from Nudgee College. Ethan Robbins, he'll try to dance out of one. Can't get away from Devon Toliafor. And more bounce passing. Belly Tautau, met hard.
Hold there.
Digging for it, Phoenix Hunt, who goes short for Engelbrecht. Some great South African names in this field today, aren't there? Engelbrecht, Ruan Peter, Von Neck. A short ball now. Joe Small getting the team back on the run, on the front foot.
Leave it now, you're off your feet. No, don't go there. Hold there.
Hunt for midfield. Oh, another knock on. 3 drop balls in a row from Nudgee College. Will pass going to the ground. Well, Rob, what do you make of Nudgee in the last 5 minutes?
It's interesting. They're just trying to throw it around a little bit more. They're trying to change the pace or change the shape of the game. I was just watching their lineouts twice in a row. They had Bailey Tautau start at number 9 and then step into the lineout, and someone else jump out of the front line. And they're trying to be tricky. I'm just not sure it's really working for them. They got away with the first line out. They got the result, but it was messy. The second one was messier still. It was spilled out to the backs. And it's just they're just playing their away from their strengths, I feel, at the moment. I mean, I get that the match doesn't have the shape that they want it to, but you'd think they still have to do the things they're good at. And that's the way that they're going to get their way into this match. They're not going to do it just by being loose with their set piece and being loose with their structures.
Yeah, you're good.
I lost my train of thought, Rob. You accidentally quoted Horses by Darryl Braithwaite, and all of a sudden I've got the chorus streaming through my headphones.
Look, I'm a good Australian, Nick. It's in my blood, and clearly it's in my my vocal cords as well.
Well, clearly that's just the way it's going to be. As Ruan Peter, he'll look to feed some of the horses in the BBC backline. As Carter Gordon now, short ball.
Beautiful shot of that little half break.
Well, they'll be wanting to use this number 11 if they can get it out of the Nudgee College, the hands of Hayden Mosley. Well, he got a warning from the referee not too long ago, but gee, it hasn't deterred him at all. He's still going in there as hard as he can.
You could say that he got an education from the referee. No, just do it this way, Hayden.
Was that a Red Dog quote? Get yourself an education.
Not to my knowledge, Nick. Can't say I've seen Red Dog.
Oh, well, in terms of great Australian movies, you got to get there.
Yeah, much to my mother's chagrin.
It's almost as good as GPS Rugby, I've got to admit. I always shed a tear. As Nudgee College now, it's all underway. A try here will give this game a very interesting shady complexion. And BBC so good in that line out. Jacob Brown in that number 4 jersey going straight up, taking it right back down. Oh, and great kick chase there from Nudgee College. Oh, gee, that's exciting stuff. What could happen here? Nudgee College have scored. Latching onto an offload from Cullen Yamanu. Nudgee College will go ahead 15 points to 12.
Haven't we seen drama down that end of the field, Nick? In the first half, it was BBC's quick line out, smartly taken. And there, BBC, possibly a little less smart, throwing it around in their own in-goal, and Nudgee College were able to pressure and capitalise.
Well, a young fly-off reckons he's invincible. Lots of offloading going on here. And who was the try scorer? Phoenix Hunt? No, Bailey Tautau? Ethan Bullimore? Well, going through the whole list of names, I reckon it's number 6 from Nudgee College. 190 centimetres, 104 kilograms, stretches out and puts that one down.
I'll tell you what, the pressure on that the first recipient of the ball was good. The offload was rushed, but then we had 2 massive hits. They managed to get an offload away in that second tackle as well, but it was the third massive one. It spilled out of that and try time.
We might need to see a little ball holder come out and sort of help out with this kick. But gee, what a passage of play. What could have gone through BBC's minds there? Like Quade Cooper at his best.
Yeah, instead of doing the pass in the in goal, they needed to go the kick pass.
Clearly that was the issue there.
We'll get Quados down for some chitlage. You could see in that shot of the conversion as well, the wind was actually shaking our camera tower here at Nudgee College. So you can hear it in your mics, but we can't stop emphasising how much it's swirling around this game.
Well, we say a 10-point win. If Nudgee... Oh. And now it might be Nudgee's turn. Rashawn Pastol, he wasn't going to throw an offload there.
Well, he had no one to throw it to. He was right at the back. I don't think he expected the kickoff to go that deep, especially with the wind against the direction of the kick. But
well, you could argue the BBC had no one to offload to in the last one as well. Didn't stop them from throwing it. But we said this win would be worth 10 points. Another penalty goal to Nudgee would make it an exactly 10-point shift in the second half. Plenty of rugby left to go. BBC's premiership hopes all riding on this next 25 minutes. Or 20 minutes, rather. And Nudgee College undefeated Some substitutions going on.
Some discussions as well. The BBC backs just having a little conference there, figure out their plan.
As Gordon, he'll go to the right now.
Oh, space.
For Ryan Sawyer now. He'll go back into traffic.
The looping pass took up too much time.
As Nudgee College, they'll look to force a maul here and turn it over, and they do. Well, I think it was a bold decision from BBC to take that ball back into the teeth of the Nudgee College forward pack. They're smaller than the BBC forwards, but still bigger than the BBC backs.
Yeah, I think it was a forced decision, Nick. You saw how Cullen Namanu, he ran for the ball. It looked like it was meant to be his, or at least he was going to be a decoy run on that left side. But he ran a bit early, overran his line, and cut off the opportunity on that open side. So they saw an opportunity blind, and the opportunity was there. There was space there, but the looping pass just took up too much time, and the opportunity was gone by the time it got to the man.
And a bit of buffeting from the wind as well was no help in that front. As Phoenix Hunt will feed the Nudgee College scrum, and it's going to wheel. BBC have given away a penalty for wheeling the scrum. Of course, not allowed to go any further than 90 degrees, I think 45 degrees in schoolboy rugby. Under 19 laws. And that was well over 45. Nice kick there from Nudgee College, getting themselves out of trouble.
Everyone around behind you, mate. Come around.
BBC left with the narrowest of leads. 15 minutes to play. As Tom Ford, he'll go short to Engelbrecht. Phoenix Hunt now, he'll feed Pasatoa, who go himself for Blackmore. Oh, a short ball.
Strong run, well met.
Gee, Cullen Namanu, he's down hurt. He told me earlier this week he's playing with the torn labrum. He might have done some more damage to that there. As Bowie Bowen is left with the defence. Well, he had a bit more time than we thought he might.
Keep coming.
He's not going to find touch there, though. Well, not directly. Was that a kick pass? Phoenix Hunt getting his disco... Van Neck getting his disco on. A little spin move, get out of trouble. As Peter escapes from the tackle. Gee, the physicality's ramping up. These teams are leaving nothing in the tank. Gordon now, short ball. Vela Tupui.
And away. Ball's available.
Was that horses? As Gordon now. He'll find grass on that left wing of Nudgee College. Robbins go inside. Bennett, that left foot heel kick. And he's found Carter Gordon, who will give ample return. High, finding grass inside the 22. Ryan Shepard has got to settle down and get those long legs and find touch. He does so.
Well, BBC were going nowhere. They had the ball for a few phases there, Nick, and made absolutely zero ground. In fact, lost a bit of territory. So they held the ball in hand for a while, but Nudgee, whenever they got it, they were happy just to punch it straight back to the men in green and black to see if they could do anything with it.
And a short line, and BBC will win it back. Just on that 5 metre line. BBC not releasing.
Arriving mate, but have to release. Hold on.
Well, Hayden Mosley was nowhere to be seen, so it can't have been him, but geez, someone else from Nudgee College really stepped up there. And now, what can Bennett do with his left boot?
His left boot and 40k of breeze behind him. Although the touchies flag has just made a liar of me for a moment there. It was swirling one way, now it's swirling the other, Nick.
Not quite a cauldron, but gee, it's acting like it. And BBC defensive line-out pressure has been spectacular. Forcing Nudgee College to rely on the bag of tricks. And the bag of tricks sometimes don't work out.
I think the call there, Nick, didn't go 5 metres at the line-out.
Well, those long arms of Trevor Jose, Jacob Brown, Devon Toliafoa makes it so difficult for anybody to throw over the top of BBC.
That one's too obvious. He's got to let it go at least 5. When you throw it to the front, no, it's not going 5 metres.
So the issue there, Ron Hoffman explaining very clearly for the Nudgee team. The receiver from Nudgee College reached over the 5 metre line to receive that ball.
Crouch!
It's interesting, Nick. In rugby, plane of 5 metres is a thing. Plane of touch isn't really, except in a few very particular circumstances.
Not pushing straight.
So Nudgee College wheeling the scrum again. They've been pinged for it multiple times this half.
Peter wanted that ball there, but his forwards knew better and kept it in. They could feel that dominance and milked the penalty.
Well, this kick is really into the wind now. And not much of a net gain to show from it.
That's right, I think he'd take that. It's better in touch than not at all.
Absolutely. Nudgee College now. See if they can steal one back. No. Too good from BBC. And BBC under a lot of pressure in midfield. As Kibble. What a carry.
Release down. Hey.
Did well to get to ground as well.
Nudgee College kicking the ball loose there. As Carter Gordon ghosts his way inside. Peter for this inside centre. Great carry from that man. And now BBC charging through the teeth of Nudgee defence and making the meters that eluded them in the first half. Cut out ball, a Valley, so quick down that left wing. Can he offload? He does, but not in time. Nudgee College snuff out an attacking opportunity from BBC down that left wing.
You mentioned as well, Nick, Nudgee College looking to kick the ball through the ruck there. That'll be illegal in a matter of months to changing the laws of rugby union. So even though you're not using your hands in a ruck, they're now also making it illegal to kick the ball out of a ruck, which you'd have to think is a good thing, for the spirit of the game and for the pace of the game. You always want to see an attacking team with clean ball and an opportunity to use the ball in rugby, subject to the normal limits, of course. And cynical play like kicking a ball through a ruck, that will be illegal, I believe, as of November 1.
Well, there's more than that. I think they're doing a real reshuffle of breakdown laws and negating the role of the open side flanker. That's going to be one element of rugby that's going to be quite reduced as of November this year. It's
interesting. Speaking to a lot of rugby folk, I've heard passionate arguments for and against. I think it'll be interesting just to see the effect it actually has. We've heard the few law variations we've had in rugby the past decade or so. Certainly some have been very, very successful, some less so. We've had trials in the ITM Cup and whatnot of the new laws, and apparently it went pretty well and maybe didn't have quite the drastic effect that some of the naysayers are saying it will. So let's wait and see.
BBC winning another line out or disrupting it just enough. They'll be penalised.
I've seen
numbers in the line out.
I've seen more half arms this game than I have the rest of the season, Nick, but they've all been justified. It just goes to show how scrappy and tightly fought this match is.
Well, Rowan Hoffman, one of the most qualified referees in Queensland, retired from Super Rugby just last year, I believe. And that kick hasn't found touch, and Jack Bowen, he'll go high. And one back, Shaden Stevens. He got there quickly. He's a tall fella. And now another tall fella, 205 centimetres, Trevor Jose. Getting through a mountain of work. As Peter, little hesitation, dummy pump. Von Neck, he'll step off his right, carry BBC to the halfway.
No, yep, that's fine, ball's out.
And Phoenix Hunt, hasn't he had a great sense of how to time his little pressures there? Sniping from... And a wide pass left behind by Prince Tamgele.
Hold it.
Peter now, Gordon. And BBC marching themselves. But you just have to think there's not much room here in this Nudgee defence. They've been very solid defensively.
Leave it, Blue.
And BBC, with every carry, they're getting more and more phases, but moving further and further backwards.
How good was that from Van Neck, though? Ryan Peter, his specialist scrum half, was there, but Van Neck, the tight head prop, said, no, thank you. I want to throw this pass. Stepped up at the back of the ruck and threw it.
Well, I've noticed 2 or 3 of those occasions this match. The neck's only 178 centimetres. He's only 3 centimetres tall. He's probably got the build, or not the build, but the height to play scrum half if he so chose.
Well, he's good technique to get the hips down low in a scrum, so he's already halfway there.
It's a great moment, though, isn't it? When you see these big front rowers love to ball play. I always fancy myself a 10. And one by Jacob Brown at the top. As Peter feeds to Gordon, short ball, Tamgele. He'll fight through the tackle of Bailey Tautau and Ethan Bullimore. And just stepping off his left, Gordon getting BBC over the advantage line. As Kibble, he'll dummy and take the line himself. Nudgee need a big hit here just to ruffle BBC. And they get it. Pasatoa offloading. Robbins spinning out. And he'll eat a big tackle. Big collisions. Hunt. They'll spread wide. There's space out there if they can get it. There's Gordon. As Numanu rushes out of the line. And now space for Shepherd.
Great defensive
A size
effort.
mismatch there. Wasn't able to make much of it. Bullet pass in the base of the ruck.
Roll out now, Green.
Hunt was the starter for Queensland this year.
Stay there.
So one of the best young scrum halves in Australia, on the truth.
Never onside.
Nudgee College win a penalty. They might need it. There are some bodies slow to get back up. That right shoulder of Hayden Mosley in particular.
God, there must be some tired men out there. Some absolutely monumental defence going on.
Monumental defence. And gee, it's been accurate as well.
It has been tremendously accurate. I just want to pull up. Look at these tackles missed statistics. I don't know if you remember at half-time, Nick. So, you know, a fair while ago now, nearly a full half ago, it was 16 missed tackles by Nudgee College and 8 missed tackles by BBC. So we've had 4 missed tackles in 25-odd minutes of rugby, or over that, 28 minutes of rugby. That is a tremendous effort. Both these teams are absolutely throwing it at each other and absolutely belting each other. But they've just been defending so well and so effectively. And that those territory numbers as well. It's come back a little bit in Nudgee College's favour, but BBC still 65-35, and you're making the most of it. And they're really strangling Nudgee College.
Well, time is off on the field as some injuries are treated to. Looks like some players are quite hurt down there.
I thought it was Mosley. He looked very ginger with that right shoulder or right arm. The way he was kind of just letting it hang free. Almost looked like a dislocation in all but the amount of pain that he was showing on his face. But I think now we're looking at a BBC player who's down.
Well, Mosley is the younger brother of a former Nudgee fly half, Liam Mosley. He was a tough little cookie of a fly half. And so I think he must run in the family. Neither of these sides have escaped the injury curse this year. BBC losing a couple of starters in Solomon Stone, who was last year's fullback. Matt Sterling is a really exciting young talent. A speedster. The starting halfback, Will Deck, and the winger, Josh Russell, to concussion. And from Nudgee, Harrison Cannon, Xavier Sully, spoke about earlier in the show. Young fullback Dan Atkinson's another one who's in that injury ward team rehab at Nudgee College.
So the clock's back ticking, Nick. What do you think of this option to take a shot? We can see the little ball stabiliser offering his assistance in the breeze there as well.
Well, it'll be a great mark of Pasatoa's kicking ability. As you can see in the trees.
Just hold.
Those great old trees in the background of Ross Oval, they're swaying.
Oh, it's a high one. Will it get caught by the breeze? No.
Wow, there's some power there as Nudgee College hit the lead 17-15.
Finally, that home Nudgee College crowd starts to roar again. They've been quiet all match, or most of the match, Nick, but you can hear how overjoyed they are with that kick.
Well, I think that's Nudgee's first lead of the entire match.
And what a time to have it.
And what a time to have it indeed. 6 minutes to go, BBC season on the line. And Nudgee College will have to scrap everything they do to give themselves some breathing room. It'll all come down to this for BBC.
That's it. You only need to lead once, Nick, at full time, so Nudgee will be perfectly happy with that.
As a line break from Nudgee, they're through. Engelbrecht. The lock. And gee, there's some passion in this Nudgee crowd again. Some life in the match. A small dumming and losing it. Numanu now. Heel step. He cocked a big knock before. As Nudgee College now losing the ball and gifting possession to BBC in a dangerous part of the field.
That was fine. Good.
That 15-metre line on the right sideline, giving BBC an enormous wealth of space to work with in their set-piece move. And what I hope for, Rob, is that BBC can use this Shaden Stevens on this left wing. He's a state sprinting champion. Ran a 10.89 when he was 16 years old. He's got some absolute gas, along with a big frame to go with it.
Well, that's really the only place in the field we've seen BBC finding space out on those fringes, so they'll need to work hard to get it there.
As Gordon now, he'll feed his inside centre.
Good crash ball. No.
He's been a handful this second half. As another penalty going BBC's way.
No clear release. No clear release. 7.
And again, this Nudgee College breakdown. Just breathing life into the BBC attack.
3 defenders there hanging off our end. So there were a number of them that had to release, and at least one of them didn't.
As Carter Gordon, he'll kick to the right sideline. Into the teeth of the breeze. And he'll find touch just inside the 22.
Big call, basically centre field right in front of the post, but that breeze must be playing with the confidence. We haven't seen a good kicking game from BBC today off the tee.
And Nudgee going up and winning it through Trevor Jose, setting a driving maul. It's a Valley at the back. As Peter now, high pass for Gordon. He'll, oh gee. I don't even know how to describe that, Rob. The bounce pass?
I think that's doing it a few favours. Just we're seeing a little bit of overexcitement from BBC here. They're making some very spontaneous decisions that potentially coaches may not be too overjoyed about, but they had the advantage. Tau was a little bit too aggressive in his attempt at the sack, or too late in his attempt at sacking that maul. So it was deemed to collapse. BBC get to have another go. Penalty.
And there's a call for a quick tap out there. It's been denied by the fly half. He's taking ownership of this kick.
This is what we've been working for.
And you can hear the line, this is what we've been working for. BBC now 2 minutes to make something happen.
Oh, but
an overthrown line out, and Bullymoore's stolen it. The Nudgee crowd love it. And is it close enough to full time, Rob, that you just keep it tight? Or
no,
do you
not in schoolboy rugby. You can't, when you're 5 metres off your own line, you can't shut down for 90 seconds.
A charge down, taken out on the full, and it'll be a Nudgee College. Oh, it'll be a BBC scrum 5 metres out.
And we saw on this field in round 1, Gregory Terrace tried to shut down the game with 90 seconds to go as well when they led Nudgee College, and that came back to bite them. Even the best international teams would struggle to shut a game down for 90 seconds. So I don't think a Nudgee College schoolboy team could do it in a pressure situation 5 metres out from their own line.
50 seconds of regular time remaining. BBC camped on the Nudgee College 5 metre line. If they can cross, they'll be alive another week.
Just quickly, Nick, speaking of 2011 World Cup, even the All Blacks tried to shut a game down for 90 seconds, and if it weren't for...
As BBC now, the number 12, he'll get back to his feet and rumble across the 5 metre line. And a turnover. Forward, he'll rumble across. Support floods in, 18 seconds remaining.
Now they can shut it down.
Some great support there from the breakdown. BBC's forwards flood in. They've got to pick their moments wisely. They can't afford to give away a penalty in this situation. It's full time in our watch. We'll see what Rowan Hoffman has on his. He's just checked and given them a nod. Phoenix Hunt now on his 18th birthday to put the game to bed. And they'll run it. Jangler Bennett. He'll kick long. No one at BBC's home. As Jack Bowen. He'll try step out of one. He'll bounce out. Ethan Roman's offloading. BBC now support flooding back. Taken into touch. Is that full time? And just like that, Nudgee College will take back the Halle Appleby Memorial Trophy with a 17-15 win over BBC on Ross Oval. And what a finish to that match, Rob Matthews.
Absolutely fantastic finish. You thought BBC were out of it twice, but they got it. They got more opportunities, but it was just too difficult, especially after that long booming kick well down into their own territory. Couldn't bring it back, and a great chase from Nudgee College to put it to bed.
Well, the courage of Nudgee College today is unbelievable.
Only hit the lead a few minutes from time, but it was enough, Nick. And they march on, still remain undefeated in this competition. 6 of 9 rounds, all up, all done. And they'll be looking ahead to a game against Southport in 2 weeks. I believe they have the bye next week.
No, I think Nudgee had the bye 2 weeks ago, I think in round 5.
My apologies.
As far as I know, the round 4 bye Nudgee College had, but gee, I'll tell you what, playing on such a significant day today as the Halle Appleby Memorial Trophy, this was a team where you think, you're looking across them, there were so many times where they could have given up and just sort of said, okay, BBC were too good, we've got a game in hand, we're not going to worry about it. Instead, they just fronted up and can continue to front up. And it's a team that I think must have been inspired by something greater than themselves.
Absolutely. It's a superb job they did in what is a significant match for both teams' premierships, and also, you know, the rivalry and the friendship between the two schools. Of course, you know, it's a competition, but we can see on screen the camaraderie. Many of these players, you know, play together at club level. They play together in some representative sides. So there's a lot of friendship here. There's a lot of respect in this fabulous GPS rugby competition.
Well, the 10,000 brothers of Nudgee College, many of them would only been 5 or 6 years old when Halle Appleby first started this college and run across this ground himself. But I guess we'll move on and look at some of these key stats, Rob. What stands out the most to you?
Line breaks. Everything else is high, Nick, except that line break. Those line break numbers are so low. Just 5 across the entire match. That's one every, 13 or so minutes. It really speaks to the match we had. It was skillful. It was a really hotly contested match of rugby. And it wasn't so much of a lack of will or a lack of execution. It was just great defence and great spoiling play.
Well, looking at 30 missed tackles for the game, as well as 5 line breaks across 70 minutes, you think that might have been a dour affair, but you know, it was the furthest thing from it. It was an exciting game, jam-packed, really a great advertisement for all the wonderful things that is schoolboy rugby, and particularly schoolboy rugby in the Brisbane GPS competition.
Absolutely right. And before too many viewers tune off in the full time, Nick, I just want to finish the story I started before when we were speaking about the 2011 World Cup and, you know, and teams trying to shut the game down with 90 seconds to go. I was mentioning the All Blacks. I said not even the All Blacks could do it, and some eagle-eyed viewers or ones with good memories might remember, well, the All Blacks did shut down that game with 90 seconds to go. But I tell you what, if Craig Joubert didn't swallow his whistle, there was a French penalty in that. So on the eve of this evening's Bledisloe Cup match, I have to say, Nick, I think that even the best teams, even the All Blacks, don't shut down a World Cup final 90 seconds from time.
Well, Rob, not sure we're getting the audio from this, but I'd love to just watch as Nudgee College celebrate a fantastic win that all but surely locks up. Well, I'm not ready to make that call yet. We'll give that till next week.
Yeah, they have this moment with their home side, or their home supporters, I should say, every match.
Just about every kid in the school bound arm in arm.
There have been fill the stand posters up all around the school all week, Nick. I was here earlier in the week, and just the posters have stayed up today. There's also a great caricature drawing of each of the starting 15 on the walls of the tuck shop. I think there are only 4 or 5 left. The others have been nicked for ceremonial bedroom walls, I think. But so fantastic support across the entire school community for this first 15 team. And for the whole rugby community, I should say. It's been a great crowd all day, all morning.
And beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky. Nudgee College, the juggernaut, rolls on another week. And he was saying, Halle Appleby's brother, I think it might be Josh, just addressing the Nudgee College schoolboys, letting them know just how much this day means. It is a day where it's about more than just the rugby. Of course, the Halle Appleby Memorial Trophy today, the brainchild of Corey Braithwaite, who was a former teammate of Halle's at Nudgee College. in that 2007 First 15. It was his idea, and in 2015 they played for the first time, and here we go, Nudgee College finally into their war cry. And there it is, time to celebrate until we move on to the next round, where Nudgee College will play hosts to Churchie on Ross Oval. And Churchie actually had the best record on Ross Oval of any team in the past decade. 3 years in a row beating Nudgee College, 2 of those on Ross.
Yeah, bit of a bogey team for Nudgee College. I have distinct memories. I've been watching this competition for many, many, many years, Nick. I hate to admit it. And I distinctly remember watching James O'Connor penalty attempt from that far side of Ross Oval to win a Nudgee College premiership, but unfortunately he missed it. And that year there were a few injured Churchie players. I distinctly remember some crutches being hoisted above the air in their victory huddle as well. So lots of stories on this oval for Nudgee College. That Nudgee Churchie rivalry is a big one. So that match, even though their positions on the ladder might suggest it's a lay down misere for Nudgee College, anything could happen.
And moving across the GPS, BBC will host Brisbane State High School at Miskin Street next week. BBC knocked out of premiership contention now, but the battle for second and third place still will live on. BBC have actually never finished above third place, at least since tables were recorded in 2003. So that'll be a big game for them as they continue to strive for their best ever finish. Toowoomba Grammar School will host Ipswich Grammar School up the range, and that'll be a huge game as well. 2 very physical forward packs. I'm looking forward to that one, Rob. And then rounding out round 7, take us through the final game.
Brisbane Grammar School will be hosting Gregory Terrace. So Gregory Terrace started the season very strongly. They have a great lineup. Won't have been as happy with some of the recent matches, but they'll be looking to hit their straps again against a Brisbane Grammar side who sitting a little bit further down the ladder, but they've, again, like Churchie, they've actually shown their hand the past couple of weeks. They're definitely working through this season, definitely improving as this season goes on. They had a very good win against that Churchie side we were speaking about before. They had a great win 2 weeks ago. They had the bye last round, so they'll be quite fresh, and they'll be looking to get stuck in at home against Gregory Terrace. And
for both those schools, the Spring Hill Derby, it's always a big one for those 2 schools. They're so close and so much against each other. There'll be no feeling lost there. Well, I guess that's going to do us for round 6 of the Queensland GPS First 15 competition. Thank you so much for tuning in, sort of sitting through our waffling for the match. We look forward to seeing you again next week for another cracking instalment of this wonderful competition across Southeast Queensland. I've been Nick Darvanese. Rob Matthews, thank you very much.
Nick, it's been my pleasure, mate.
We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon.